Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. My name is Leon Jones, and I normally don't do videos on Saturdays, but I had some computer issues. So I want to get back into the scam series and I want to talk about payday loans. Now, payday loans are legal loans. However, you have to watch out for the high interest rate because payday loans are short term loans. They're used to get you from payday to payday, but you have to pay it back because if you don't pay it back on time, there are high interest rates, but there are also scams when it comes to payday loans. And right now, I'm going to tell you about the scam. Now, a new report from the Better Business Bureau warns customers of numerous ways scammers have found a home within the shadows of the payday loan industry. The report issued last week said that new frauds are often leveraging information stolen from legitimate lenders in order to defraud people. Due to a boom in online payday lending companies in recent years, hackers are able to steal data and more easily imitate real lenders. This is why I always tell you every time you put your information out there online and you are applying for a payday loan, you are going to get calls from what you believe are legitimate lenders. And then you're going to find out that they are basically impersonating lenders and they're trying to steal your information. Now, when they try to steal your information, that makes it easier for them to offer fake loans. And what they do, they pressure people into believing that they still owe money, pose as debt collectors, or demand upfront payment for loans. Now, again, here is the scam right here. Why should I pay money to get money? That should be a trigger in your mind or in your head. But there are a number of people out there who don't know any better and they will fall for this scam. Now, the BBB report lists a few different scenarios that make up more than 3,000 payday lender related scam complaints received since 2019. Now, consumers have collectively lost millions to these scams, with the median amount lost per person in 2022 reaching $1,000. Now, just going to say this when it comes to applying for anything online, information is numero uno. Individuals are trying to steal your information so they can impersonate you to steal your money. So, if you've taken out a loan from a legitimate lender in the past, hackers could still access your information and they will contact you as a representative of that company, although they are really scamming you. And see what scammers will do, they will try to convince people that they still owe the money. However, in reality, the money was already paid off, as I explained to you before. So consumers should watch for the signs that the company is an imposter. Remember, you can always tell it's an imposter from emails coming from gmail.com or yahoo.com addresses instead of the company name, or check for slight misspellings. So if you get an email about a payday loan, check the info after the and sign. Now, the BBB report says legitimate companies don't send messages from a Gmail or Yahoo account. This is not a foolproof method, though, as scammers can spoof emails, they can even steal passwords to gain access to legitimate ones. Now, one thing you must understand is that you have individuals posing as debt collectors. Now, I will share this with you. I lived in Pennsylvania. And in Pennsylvania, they do not give payday loans. So I had a debt collector call me up saying I owe $4,000. I said, $4,000 based on what? He said I had taken out a payday loan. I said, well, can you verify this? I've never gotten any documentation in the mail. And I'm going to get into debt collection as well, because the debt isn't yours unless they send documentation. That's the same way payday loans are as well. You sign something, and when you sign something, now you're liable for that loan. However, when you stick your information or when you put your information online, that's when they find out who you are based on your information. Again, they will find out who you are because of your information. I one time put in some information just to see what would happen. One time I put in a fake name, and somehow, because a hacker is smart, they found out who I was. And I was getting all kinds of spam email. You can do that. Now, I'm saying this because they pose as debt collectors. Some of these fake payday loan individuals. And remember, fraudsters, when they impose their will on you because they're posing as debt collectors, and they will use names that sound like law firms to convince you that consumers still owe a debt. Customer and consumer, they're the same. So there was a BBB investigation into a BlackRock legal group and here's what happened, found that the supposed company sending mailers to people saying that they owed a debt from Advance America. Now, Advance America is a legitimate company. Again, I see them all over the place. Now, Advance America told the Better Business Bureau that it has no dealings with BlackRock. So a red flag for consumers in debt collection scams is the failure or inability to provide written confirmation of the debt. Now, under the Fair Debt Collection Protections Act, known as the FDCPA, enforced by the FTC, which is a Federal Trade Commission, debt collectors are required to provide in writing the creditor's name, the amount owed, how to get the name of the original creditor, and how to dispute the debt within 30 days of receiving the confirmation documents. So, again, payday lending. Mississippi social justice firm fights payday predatory lending, especially in low income communities. Now, you notice when you go in low income communities, what do you have in there? You have some type of check cashing place. Don't use those either. Because if you go and cash a check, you have to pay money to cash a check. And these check cashing companies make a lot of money, and they're generally in low income places. Now, something else that will tell you it's a scam, asking for payment through apps or gift cards. So, what I'm saying is, whether asking for an upfront fee or demanding a debt to be repaid, scammers may request payment in a form that is nearly impossible to recoup. Gift cards, apps like Venmo, or wire transfers from places like Western Union. Now, most legitimate operations are still on the cash, check, and credit plan, and they do that for a reason. So, asking for money to be returned immediately, a scammer might say they need to test your banking info by sending you a mobile deposit that you then need to send back immediately. So what happens is the scammer is actually taking advantage of the payment approval system, and there may not have been any money sent. Now, eventually, the bank or service will reclaim that money, and the victim will have sent their own money to the fraudsters. So basically, some purchases or financial transactions may trigger a pre authorization hold on your account, but those are typically in the amount of $1 and will disappear automatically. Now, as a consumer, consumers should not return deposited money to a sender. What about requesting money up front? Well, legitimate lenders will not ask for a fee or sum of money up front to guarantee the loan. Now, also, the report that I'm going to share with you includes a BBB complainant named Shirley in San Jose, California. So basically, Shirley did receive a call from a woman who said her name was Lauren Green. And what Lauren Green told Shirley is that she qualified for a loan of $5,000 from West Point lenders. Now, to get her loan, all she needed to do was pay a $535 fee. After doing so, Shirley was told by Green that another $535 was needed because her credit was not good enough. Now, Shirley just paid $1,070. Well, first of all, if I have to pay a fee to get money, I'm going to be suspicious. So Shirley became suspicious. And what happened was it turns out that West Point Lenders is similarly named to other financial institutions. West Point Lenders has a similar name to other financial institutions. However, you must understand that it is a fake company. So Green attempted to get more money from Shirley, but she realized that she had been scammed. Now, something else too. If you know you've been scammed and they give you a number and you call that number and it doesn't work, well, you know it's a fake company. Now again, I just want everybody to know that no company will require an advance fee for a loan. So any fees and interest will either be taken out of a sum of the loan or charged to repay with the loan. If they ask for money to release the loan or for bad credit or for insurance, that's a scam. Also, they may call you with an offer. So Shirley's story is also an example of scammers calling up out of the blue and offering a loan. So even if you've been searching for or applying for loans online, must be wary of someone calling you. And what's going to happen is it's going to go into other scams that I've talked about, email scams, and you're going to get a lot of scam calls. I remember just for giggles, I put information out and I got calls. I didn't want a loan, but I got calls just to see what would happen. Now, I will also tell you this. If a company does make a loan offer via phone or online, do your research. Don't succumb to high pressure tactics because any legitimate company will want your business, whether it's today or tomorrow. So, something else. If you can't find information about this company, think of it as a red flag. Sometimes scammers will have fake websites, so the presence of one is not a guarantee that you are safe. Now, the Better Business Bureau has a scam tracker website. And what it is, it's a searchable database of reported scams. So running a company's name on the Better Business Bureau scam tracker site is a good first step. Now, also, predatory payday loan practices that you must watch out for. Again, companies that actually do offer payday loans aren't impervious or predatory or or they do unscrupulous practices, despite an attempt to crack down by the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. For the most part, states are left to regulate the industry, and more than 1,000 states have introduced some type of payday lending legislation. Now, understand this: payday loans are still available in 32 states, some of which do not have any cap on how high interest rates go. Remember, I told you about interest? In fact, the number is going to strike you. An annual percentage rate in 8 states can be over 400%. So the BBB warns some payday lenders will advertise their interest rates calculated on a weekly or bi-weekly basis rather than giving the annual percentage rate typically advertised for credit card interest. Now, the report shows the math in which someone is taking out a $375 loan with an advertised finance charge of 15%. They're actually paying an APR of 391.07. Now, again, for every scam reported to the Federal Trade Commission or the BBB. Now, all I'm doing is I'm just giving you information on what these scams are and how to avoid them. Now, let me go ahead and let's go and let's really get more into payday loan scams. Fair use.
Scam alert. Americans are losing big money to people and places offering short-term loans, including payday loans. Here's Steve Burness of the Better Business Bureau.
That's right, Angela. The Better Business Bureau issued an investigative study this week on predatory payday loan companies and fraudsters who are thriving during this economy. As you know, consumers lost jobs and struggled to make ends meet during this COVID-19 pandemic. And unfortunately, many of them had turned to payday loan and other short-term solutions, and they ran into problems or ran into scammers who took advantage of them. It's basically these payday loans are allowed in about 32 different states, which is different laws for each in different states. So it's up to the consumer to understand the rules and regulation of that particular state. From the last 3 years, the Better Business Bureau received more than about 3,000 customer complaints about payday loan companies with a disputed dollar amounts about $3 million. And that's just the tip of the iceberg, which we usually see. Most of the complaints alleged, they often said they felt ill-informed about the terms of the loan. And many have fallen into what's called a debt trap. You keep stacking the interest rates on and on. As you don't pay the loan back, you just keep stacking to a new loan. We had a recent consumer that came to the Better Business Bureau and they told us they took a loan out for $300. She paid so far $1,200 and she still owes an additional $1,500 on a $300 loan. So we've got scammers who are also posing as payday loan companies. They steal data and they know you have a loan with them, so they try to tell you that you have to pay today as something's wrong with your account, and they're taking advantage of consumers. So the Better Business Bureau just wants consumers to be aware of these types of scams, to check out the payday loan company with the Better Business Bureau, and look to alternatives before seeking these types of short-term loans, maybe help a family, friends, or church members, or things of that nature. If you are dealing with a payday loan, make sure you understand what you're getting yourself into, the amount of money you are going to take, and the interest charges and all the other fees associated with it. And there's some bad businesses that are taking advantage of the situation. So it's best to do the research on the organization before giving them your money. I'm Steve Burness, President and CEO of the Better Business Bureau.
Go to businessfirstam.com for where to see our show on TV.
Again, he just mentioned some alternatives. Now, Again, going back to payday loans, yes, they will calculate high APRs, annual percentage rates. Now, remember, payday loans are short-term loans, and I apologize for the other video that was getting ready to come up here on my channel, but just gravitate to the information because there are a lot of people out there who are taking payday loans. Now, have I ever taken payday loans? Yes, but I knew where the legitimate ones were. Now, something you have to do when you get a payday loan so you don't get scammed, don't take more than you need. You want to be able to pay it back. Now, what payday loan companies do, they generally ask you, I know check and go, and there's another one, or check to go. They ask you for a check. Now, why do they ask you for a check? Well, because when you can't pay it back, the amount that you took out, they'll cash that check. They'll cash that check. Like if you took out 300, you write them a $300 check as well. They keep that check on file. Now, what people don't do is pay it back on time as well. Remember, payday loans are short-term loans. Now, if you want some long-term loans that will help you, you may want to go with someone like a regional finance, a One Main, something like that. But you only borrow if you have to. For the most part, don't borrow at all, because if you don't understand the terms, and this is what gets people in trouble with payday loans, they don't understand the terms. They don't understand how the math is done. Now, basically, I'm going to tell you this. When you go in, let's say you get $100. Well, they're going to charge you a $15 fee. So you're going to pay $115. The more you borrow, the higher the fee is. Now, I will say this as well. If you're applying for a payday loan online, that is where you're going to get yourself in a world of trouble. Again, your information is online. This is where you're going to get a number of scam calls. You're going to get a number of emails. Now, I'm not putting foreign people down, but I know my experience. I've gotten a number of foreign people. I mean, I had somebody tell me to come on up to Walmart, bring your card, and we can give you the money. First of all, why am I going to bring my card so you can give me money? I already know that's the scam. And so you have to have common sense to recognize the scam. Again, these scams are just like religion. They're naive. I'm not criticizing religion, but religion, and I did a video on it as well, tithing. Tithing is also a scam. You have a number of grifters out here. They don't want to work hard for a living or work smart for a living. So what they're going to do is take advantage of the weak, because the weak are gullible, the desperate. And believe it or not, you have these scammers making a lot of money. That's because a number of individuals, when it comes to payday loans, don't understand the terms of what they're getting. Again, just going to say this again so you can hear me. A payday loan is a short-term loan. That's it. It is not something that you're going to live off of. And another reason why people get stuck is they're getting another loan when they haven't paid the first one off. That's what I've seen. And, a lot of these individual places are in low income areas because they prey on the weak. Now, I'm not slamming payday loan companies. They do have some legitimate ones. It's up to the legitimate ones to point out the illegitimate ones. Again, scams happen with financial institutions when you look at the website. But the key to any website or email, look for something like a misspelling. An email, look for a misspelling. Look for something after the dot. Like an organization is always .org, education is always .edu, commercial business is .com. Now, what I'm simply telling you is this: scammers are out there, and you must have your eyes wide open because it's your money. And when you are low income or middle class, work hard for your money. Once your money goes, it's very hard to get it back. So when it comes to payday loans, before you think about a payday loan, look at your finance and find out why you need a payday loan. Are you spending more than what you're making? I know you hear individuals out there talking about six figures and everything. Six figures is only gross. Most people are not netting six figures because after taxes, and we'll get into how they break down money as well. But when it comes to these payday loan scams, they're out there. And you have people chomping at the bit to find who the suckers are. And a sucker is born every day. Now, we've all been suckered, but they're ones who are constantly getting suckered because they don't want to read the information or they don't understand the information. I would say if you're going to get a payday loan, go to an attorney's office or check with a financial institution. Check with better yet, check with the Better Business Bureau. Find out if the company is legit. Again, they have a list of scam companies out there. The resources are out there, but you have to use them. I just showed you a video on how many states have payday loans. I know Pennsylvania doesn't have payday loans. And the one that tried to scam me by saying I took out a payday loan in Pennsylvania said, well, you can get them online. No, because if you think about it, I tried to get an actual long-term loan with a payday loan company in Indiana, and a prompt came up and said, Indiana does not have long-term loans from a payday loan company. Illinois does, not Indiana. It will tell you, and that's a legitimate one. Again, you have Cash America, that is legitimate. Check and Go, that's also legitimate. You have a number of them across the country. But think about the consequences if you have a payday loan. If you get a payday loan. Any loan you have to pay back. And if you don't pay back, the interest is going to stack up. So if you get $300 and you're not paying $300 back, the interest is going to stack up. The best way to do the payday loan, the only way to do it, pay it all back at once, and then you don't have to worry about it. Because in the end, it's your money. And what I'm doing here is giving you an overview on how this system works. Because when you have an understanding of what payday loans are and how they work, there will be less of a chance of you being scammed. And that's my commentary for this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. If you like what I just presented, please comment, share, and subscribe. And if you're looking for some educational content, check out my second channel, the QCIS channel. On that channel, I give you a daily dose of science, technology, engineering, and math. And if you cannot find the QCIS channel or the 411 Talk Zone radio show channel on YouTube, and also check both of those channels out on my Twitter page. Now, for the QCIS channel, I do take it one step further. Since it is an educational channel, you can also find the QCIS channel on my LinkedIn page. And in the end, be blessed for what you have. Don't worry about what you don't have. Always know that the sun rises in the east and sets in the west. If it doesn't apply, let it fly. But if the shoe fits, wear it. If you don't like the shoe, change it. And once again, thank you for listening to this edition of the 411 Talk Zone radio show right here on YouTube. Till next time, my name is Leon Jones. Wish you all to have a wonderful and gracious evening. God bless you. I'm out.